there are more slaves in the world today than at any point in human history. Okay, between 35 and 40 million people are enslaved in the world. That was not the case in the, more at any point in history. The life of a slave today is worth much less than life of a slave during chattel slavery in the Americas. Okay, so back when we had legalized slavery in the Americas. The life of a slave today is worth much, much less. And these are young kids in the Congo, on the DRC, who are mining cobalt and coltan. Every one of your phones has the minerals, the precious metals that these young people are mining. Every one of us, every computer, this laptop, this phone, everybody. And about 25% of all the slaves in the world are children. So the three of you, right? Like how, like you have, look, like there's slavery in this, right? There's slavery in this. Like how do you, I don't know, how do you sit with, hold your phone in your hand, okay? I mean, this is a slavery unlike you would imagine. Okay, so where do you go with that?
I knew about the situation that was going on in Congo with like the cobalt, but like it's an iPhone, like it's pretty popular. But like when I buy a new phone, I'm not like, oh my gosh, like children were being slaves for this. Like it's just like some things you turn a blind eye to because it's like popular in iPhone. I can't like imagine myself walking around with a flip phone, honestly.
Okay,
so.
but let me ask you, right? So you're from your family, your ancestry is from Liberia.
Mm-hmm.
So if we go back 300 years, the Portuguese were in Liberia, taking Africans from Liberia, putting them on ships and sending them to the Americas, okay? By chance, there were certain people who, your lineage going back, they were not captured and they were not sent on a ship over to the Americas, right? Mm-hmm. But think about how you now just answered the question. It's like, well, but it's an iPhone, and so now go back 300 years to the people buying the products that were being made by not your ancestors, but, well, some of your ancestors, right, were enslaved, like some of your direct ones, somebody was. But, like, what would you say to them? You know what I mean? Like, how do you manage that? Because, like, if I said, for example, yeah, okay, my ancestors, yeah, they supported slavery and they got rich over slavery, but, you know, other people were doing it. I don't know, like, what were they not going to do it? They had to live, and, like, you know, slaves were picking cotton, but the cotton was really nice, and, like, people wanted it, and, like, okay, like, so I don't know, what am I supposed to do? Like, it's fine, like, so I'm just pushing you on this, like, okay, what?
I think it's kind of hard because like I'm not directly feeling the effects of it. Mm-hmm. So it's like I'm able to turn a blind eye to it. Like I heard about the situation, but I was like, oh my gosh, like that's horrible. But I wasn't like, oh no, I'm gonna get rid of my phone. Like it's kind of easy to turn a blind eye to something when it's like not directly affecting you. Uh-huh. So I think that's what makes it different.
So do you ever hear Black Americans here? How often do you hear Black Americans here in the United States talking about like slavery? Oh yeah, you know, the legacy of slavery, the legacy of discrimination, the legacy.
I hear it a lot. And like I would talk about it, but like with my country was never enslaved. Like,
yeah.
So
well, your country wasn't, but like your country wasn't a country. Right.
Yeah.
So when I said that about ancestry, I don't mean your country didn't exist. So,
yeah. So it's like I feel with them, and I'm like, oh yeah, like oppressed people and everything, and like I would still talk about it because like though like my people weren't directly like I didn't descend from slaves, my people were directly from Liberia, so
okay,
it's hard to.
But listen, but in the end, it really, so I'm asking you this question then. So you're with other black students, let's just say students, right? And they're talking about the legacy of slavery or something. What if you were to just pick up your cell phone and be like, dudes, what the fuck? Like right here, in your phone. Like, why are you talking about slavery 300 years ago? Talk about it right now. Like, here it is. It's right here. Here I can open up. Look, I can open up YouTube, and in like 15 seconds, I can pop up a video about slavery in cell phones. So we could do that. Like, why do you want to just talk about that? Let's talk about this. Like, so what would keep you from doing that? And then I want to ask Adam.
I think it's because like it's no direct effect on like Black Americans. Is no like, but like actually like the transatlantic slave trade, like that's it's like kind of like your descendants of the slaves that was bought here, but like versus things that's like, and I can admit this now, a lot of Black Americans are ignorant to things that's going on in Africa. Like they don't care about them because they, like it's a conversation of like black Americans versus Africans. Yeah. Like it's a real thing. So it's like a lot of them turn a blind eye to like what's going on in Africa. Like they don't, it's not directly affecting them, so they don't care about it. Okay.
All right, I got you. So Adam, how about you? And I want to take this slavery conversation to another step. And I want to say the following. Everybody in this room, every single person in this room has clothing in our closets that's been made that is directly connected to slavery and sweatshops. Okay? So I want to show you just two more photos here. Nidhi, go with one more. And so these are young girls in Bangladesh. This is them 12 to 14 hours a day. And then one more. These are young, the last, we talked, Mira is from Addis Ababa, remember, from last class, one of our camera ops, and these are young girls in Addis Ababa making clothes. And, so, okay, so how is that? Like, your wardrobe, bro, like.
Now, I have to be honest, this is going to be a multifaceted answer, but if I were to talk with my friends and family back in Philly, I'm probably going to get a joke, something like, yeah, but it's going to start with maybe something like, yeah, but we're still trying to get our reparations, yeah, I mean, something like that. Or, that John's crazy and everything, but what about the life we're trying to live? Everyone always brings it back to how we are. And personally, as I've been sitting here and thinking about it, it's one of those things where it really depends on the type of person you are. And for me, at least, I think although there are a lot of people in a less fortunate situation than I am, what I owe to them is that I'm going to use my platform and my opportunity to drive as much change as I can in the lifestyle that I have and into my community. Because personally, it's like, although Philadelphia, most Black people, most minorities in Philadelphia are not nearly on the same spectrum as people in Haiti and other countries, what I feel like I can do in my life is at least empower them within this community. And that's the kind of mindset that I feel like is going to drive that growth. So when it comes down to it, having those conversations, you can only go but so far in terms of like the people you're talking to. Much of my family and friends, they're going to be like, yeah, man, that's cool and all, but how does that pertain to me? Like, how am I going to do that? It's really hard once you have a sort of level set that's already in place.
So, therefore, when people, especially white people, say, I'm just not really interested in race. Like, I don't want to talk about it. It doesn't affect me, so I don't really want to. Why should I have to deal with it? Why should I have to take a class on diversity? Why should I have to learn about these issues when it doesn't affect me? Like, I don't care. I don't care. I got my own shit to worry about. So you understand that.
I mean, it's the same thing, like, in Philly, we're one of, 14 cities in the country that we mandate African-American history. And there's even Black people who are like, man, why am I learning African-American history? I'm Black.
Yeah.
What do I need that for?
Yeah. I already know enough. That's what I hear that sometimes from Black people about Social 119. Like, oh, I took Social 119, I didn't learn anything. I'm a really? You didn't learn anything? So why don't I'll hire you then to teach the class for me next semester because clearly you know it all. Got it? Dio, and then Ernso, I want to come back to you. I want to see what you think about these responses. How do you deal with it? That you have clothing made by slaves.
So,
You have all sorts of products made by slaves.
You know, we live in a world where, like you were just
No,
saying.
hang on. I live in a world.
Sorry,
Just talk about you. How do you
Okay.
manage this?
Okay. Well, I was getting there.
All right,
But,
all right.
just like you were saying, it's
No,
really,
the reason I'm going to cut you off one more time. The reason I did that is because too often we philosophize as a way to not have to wrestle with the things that we really need, would be good for us to wrestle with. So I'm saying, no, just wrestle, man. Go inward and wrestle. Go ahead.
Okay. In that case, my answer is I really don't even begin to know how to deal with this.
Okay.
Like, it's because it's something I don't think about, and it's something that like people around me don't really think about. You know what I mean? It's like most of us, I don't have reason to think about these things we're given. Like, oh, here's a phone. You don't think about where the phone comes from. You just have a phone.
And then you don't want to, because if you
Yeah.
want to, if you find out,
that
it's
too.
going to be a problem.
Yeah, it's upsetting. And so this class has gotten me to think a bit more about it. But at the same time, you also get into a question of, like, how do you even avoid these things? Because it's so commonplace, which is awful. Like, I'm not saying that's the right way to think about things.
Yeah.
But-
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Dude, I love that. I love all three of your answers, right? That my job, I don't have an answer. My job is to wrestle. If you're not wrestling with it, I just happen to wrestle with it every day. It's just part of what I do. When I'm with Ernso, it's all we do is wrestle with it, right? Hey, Ernso, I want to introduce them. So are we good here? We're in the we've wrestled now. We're good. Now you can think about it. It's like Thon. It's like it's a similar thing as Thon, right? You just you can't help every child and every family that has cancer, but you're going to help some. And so that's why we have Thon. And Thon's an awesome thing because you get to help some. And this is what it is. So we get a feel for that. And so kudos to everybody who is involved in Thon. Can you go to one more slide? One more. So this is Melissa. And Melissa is a young woman who showed up at Ernso's church when she was, Ernso, how old was she? Like 12 or something?
Oh, Melissa was about 12
Yeah.
when she came to our church.
And she wanted to learn English. She came to his church because she just wanted, and she had a really vibrant personality, her and her twin sister. And so Melissa, Ernso said, he was in Social 19, and he said, can we just sponsor her to go to finish her grade school out and then finish high school out, and then let's put her through college. And we said, yeah, let's do it. So we had projects for years and years and years, and she became a doctor. That's her operating on somebody, and that's her on the left. And like, awesome. And that's like what students in 119 did. But now, Ernso, you have another idea.
Yeah. First of all, Social 119 been sponsoring Melissa to become a doctor for so many years. Now she's finished. She's doing her social work right now at the General Hospital in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. And now we want to take this thing a little further. Because sustainability, that's what I always tell people. Now we want to build a clinic where Melissa can work as a doctor and supporting the community like on a day-to-day basis. Now we are working with Melissa so she can practice her medicine, and then we can support the people like in the community by having like a clinic, a lab, and a pharmacy, and be able to run some regular tests. If there is some major thing that we cannot do, we can direct them to other private hospital, because healthcare in Haiti is the most expensive thing there are. And then any way we can achieve that goal, that's what we want to do. Because the project is to help Melissa become a doctor. Now she's a doctor. Let's take it a little further now, is by helping her, not only for herself, but for family, but also for the community to go further in her career.
And in the
That's what
community.
we are doing right now. We want to start in June. We'd like to start a clinic in Port-au-Prince area where people can come as a very low cost. They can have medical care for the people.
Okay, so Ernso, the reason I'm going to say this, and I'm going to go back to what you think about the answers that the 3 students had. I just want to make sure that we had enough time. So the goal, what we're looking for, is somebody, family, anybody who wants to really participate in helping to build this somehow, contributing to it in a serious way, not just a couple dollars here and there, but really in a serious way. And a couple dollars is fine, but you understand, right? So the message to you all is like, hey, maybe you want to kind of participate in this. Maybe this is something that you want to go into medicine and you want to do this, or maybe your family. But it's a lot of fun working with Ernso, and it's a lot of fun meeting people, because there's nothing like working with Haitians. And maybe you want to participate. So we're casting the net in the water, right, my friend?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
All right. Listen, final thing. Tell me what you think of the answers about these answers about slavery and.
Okay. I don't know if I tell them to follow international news this past 2 weeks, because now these days we have like what you call the modern slavery. Think about, we have about 30,000 people making jeans in Haiti. They ask them to make 72 pair of jeans every day. They only paying them $5 a day. This is modern slavery. Like this past week, 9 people died because they were rioting. They say that we want to get paid at least $10 a day. Because while these jeans are being sold in the US for big money, you cannot pay these people $10 a day to make these jeans. This is not fair. And they cannot survive on what they are making. Some of them have families. And it's slavery. I call it slavery. Now, this is what the fight is all about. We have to do something. We cannot accept some stuff that's happening. I don't say that capitalism is not good. It is a way of life, but we have to kind of help people to get a better life, because we cannot continue on that trend of slavery. You find it in different countries, Cambodia, Africa, and in Haiti, closest to us is we find that every day. It's there. And I like some of your answers, but I know, what are we going to do about it? What are we going to do about it?
Yeah, that's always your that's always your question to everybody. What are we going to do? Hey, Ernso, thank you, and thanks to the 3 of you.